Yeah, he make it.
Who that?
G.
Stick with it.
All right, Mike, Miggity Mike. Let me see if you guys can hear me in the comments. So leave a thumbs up to make sure that the sound is okay before we start yapping, and then it just looks like it's a bunch of lips moving.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I'll just start off like boom, we live.
Yeah, see, he still he ain't
I'm
used
like,
to
oh,
it.
you're like, oh wow, we're live.
You don't
I
get
thought he was- I
He
thought he
be
was
Antoine just be going live and it's short. He just be unannounced. Doing, oh, I'm live. 5 minutes over is over. Like what the hell?
But you know, with those 5,000 subscribers though, you know, people notifications just pop up.
Man,
quick
damn.
humble brag right there. I see you.
When you got
I see you.
5,000 people in your algorithm and stuff too, man, I can take off 2 years or whatever. It still comes up. So,
all right. Check me in
Quick
another
humble
year.
brag.
so what's up, kid? Aurora, what's happening? Dre, what up? Hey, y'all. I'm trying to keep tabs on the little the invite thing. See right here, another guest thing popped up. Let me see. Man is in here. Add stream. Boom. So it's gonna be some little pauses and stuff like that too, you know, in the broadcast. But you know, we'll see though. So, I'm gonna just start with a little intro. I guess we got 50 people in here now, so I think we can get this thing going. And I'm gonna talk about what this panel is going to be about and what it's not going to be about. All right, from my end. So, what it's not going to be about is, to me, just targeting Peter Call for what he said and slamming him for that. Because two, I didn't listen. So one, I didn't listen to the full podcast. I'm gonna be like, let's be upfront about it too. I didn't listen to it, and then by the time I got to it, that part was cut out. So all the context was done with it too. You know, so I understand the argument from that standpoint. Oh, you didn't listen to the whole thing, blah blah blah. Also, I don't give a damn if I didn't listen to it or not. That word shouldn't come out of his mouth. All right.
100%.
So that's the thing. And I also understand from everybody else's standpoint, like I saw a lot of people commenting on like showing the broadcast, like especially like the white people or non-people of color, whatever like that. That was like, oh, it's no big deal. You could just, you know what I mean? You apologize and we can all move on from it. We can all be past it. You don't get to fucking say what I'm past and what I'm not past.
Very true.
At all. You don't say that. You know what I mean? Like, and another thing too, I do appreciate the people outside of our community, you know, making posts and like, you know, having the voice, things like that too. But I'm a big fan of good message, bad messenger. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody from the LGBTQ plus community, somebody came out on the podcast and like said something to bash them, and I made a post saying how wrong it was and stuff like that too, they're gonna be like, dude, this Timberland wearing, gun shooting, straight guy, like he don't speak for us. You know what I'm saying?
Timberland wearing.
Thank you. You know, thank you for posting it and thank you for expressing your concerns, whatever too. You know, but like this is not your fight, bro. And I understand that. You know, so like a lot of people, I watch people get crucified and banned and boycotted off of just people sharing a meme that a bunch of people felt it was misogynistic. You know?
Yeah.
If I didn't agree with that post, if I didn't agree with that post, and I made this big grandstand about it, and I was like, on behalf of all women everywhere, as a feminist, I think that his post was deplorable. You'll be looking at me like you're out your damn mind. I seen you at Reptile shows. You're like, you know?
Yo, this is I said this on my New Breed on the Block with MJ. I said no matter what your message is, I never tell people to dilute their message. Get your message across, but it's the delivery that matters. Your delivery is everything. Like you could say fuck you to somebody and it'd be real disrespectful, or you could say fuck you and they'll say thank you very much. So when it comes to putting your message out there, it's important that you analyze your delivery before you just let loose, because just letting loose leaves people with ammunition to come attack you for that specific thing you said in your message.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Yeah, but it does matter what your message is too. Still,
right now,
like, even if your message is something terrible, even if you deliver it well, it's still a terrible message. So
here, ready? Here's the message that we got yesterday, or was it the day before?
Friday.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know what day. It was okay, Friday. So the message was racism is still very much alive, right? We hear stories from Antoine and we hear stories from Bob Vu about how back in the day it was just them and a bunch of racist ass dudes, and they were looked at a certain way, right, Antoine?
Exactly, dude. I mean, even in more recent times too. Like I was on the phone with Miguel yesterday too, and he went through a lot of stuff trying to get in this industry too. He was told like, "Hey man, like shouldn't you be mowing lawns or doing landscaping instead of messing with snakes and shit?" I'm like, yo, now those same people will probably fucking, pay him to just be at his damn house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's stuff like that, man. It's sometimes I can take a joke better than anybody, And from a social political standpoint, I don't lean as left as a lot of people do. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, and a lot of you people know me personally know that too. But to me, that's not what it's all about, man. Like there's power not only in just words, there's power and influence. So if one person can just go all loosey goosey on a podcast saying whatever he wants, what makes you think that everybody else is gonna look at that and go, well, apparently it's acceptable because I literally just watched Sean Bradley smirk and smile about it and keep on moving and didn't shut him down. And that
right.
That part.
And that's what I talked to Sean last night about too. My issue, like I already knew about Peter Calls. Like I've heard stuff about him a long time ago. I'm not gonna go into what I heard and what he said, but there's screenshots out there on Facebook, and you guys already saw it yesterday on stuff he's commented on, whatever too. And like to me, you don't get the excuse, oh, he was probably drunk or he was probably this and he was probably that too. Because I'll be honest with you, when you're under the influence of drugs and alcohol, that's
your true self.
That's when you're telling the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Drunk man tells
Truth
no lies,
says.
man.
Yep. Drunk man tells no lies.
Right. So knowing what I know or what I've heard about that individual, to me, I wasn't even surprised. Like I'm more surprised at the indifference. Hold on, let me add him right here. I'm more surprised at the way it was brushed off and then the indifference. And looking at the comment section when Sean Bradley went live on IG and when he went live on YouTube, looking at those comments, it's just so much indifference in there because to those people, this situation doesn't apply to them.
Right.
And let's be honest too, man. Like when you see, like when the whole bullying thing was happening 2 weekends ago, I didn't give two fucks about that at all. Because in my head, it was like, oh, a guy in his mid-40s and a guy in his late 30s are arguing on the internet. That's not my fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know both of them. I'm cool with both of them. I'm friends with both of them, whatever like that, too. I think when you have situations like that, grown men should better iron their beef out and take care of it, whether it's online, over the phone, or even in person. So, to me, that just wasn't my fight. And just like a bunch of other events here, too. So, I don't get upset when people don't talk about shit like that. Like, I hate, the whole silence is acceptance thing and shit like that, too. But, yeah, like, silence is acceptance when it's pertaining to your situation.
Yeah.
That's when I have the problem with this. Like, I can't get mad at a white person that don't make no posts and don't talk about this at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people reached out to me and sent me messages and sent me phone calls and shit like that.
Same.
And was like, you know what I mean? This cool is not gonna fly, whatever. And I understand that, and I really appreciate it though. But if you don't go out there and make this grandiose post about this whole situation, why should I be upset with you?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
You know
agree
what I
with
mean?
you.
Like, because it's not your fight. But this
you
right
ain't
here,
experienced, you can't speak on it really.
but this right here is my fight. You know what I mean?
So here's something like, so I was watching the live that he did on Instagram where he was trying to do damage control, which I feel like he almost shot himself in the foot with that.
Bro.
It made it worse,
Instagram
100%.
Live.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
wasn't
forget
the
about.
Made
Yeah,
it worse.
let's forget about that for a second and let's talk about the comments. So the comments were like, oh, you got people comparing it to the MJ shit and it's not the same and this is silly and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, right? When you call someone, can I curse on here?
I'd rather you don't. You can just like shorten it out.
Okay. So when you call a dude a D head, right? When you call a chick a C word, right? When you call her a B word, it's not the same as this old white dude from Hillbilly Town dropping the N-bomb with the R at the end of it, right? It's much different in the sense that when someone like that says that, that's tied to him condoning the things that happened to African Americans back in the day. So nobody was hung from a tree in front of a house because they were called a D-head, right? No one was tortured. No women were raped. Nobody was exploited for their physical labor. So when I hear or see people saying, "Oh, just brush it off, it's not that big of a deal," it really is, because what they're saying is that they condone the behavior that happened, however, 300, 400 years ago. It's a big fucking difference.
It's the same thing as like with the LGBTQ community, right? Somebody outside that community cannot go into their world and use their language. You can't call somebody an F word or a lesbian. Like, you can't do that. You just can't do that. But they can talk however they want to each other.
Right.
So it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Words have power. Depends on the person who's using it, especially if you're using it in a way to demean somebody. Like, I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy from, like, he could walk up to me right now, I won't know him. But what I got from him is he's using that word, right? And he's using it. He can say it to a white guy if he wants to. You know what I'm saying? But he can justify saying it to a black guy very next day and be like, "Oh, shut up you, and shut up you this, shut up you that," and the guy can take offense. Is what I talk to my friend Billy like that all the time. Well, I'm not your friend Billy, so you can't. That's giving other people feel like they have the right to say it too. Especially say it on a live. You say it on a live, people are hearing it. They like, "Oh, well, Peter just said it, so now I can say it." And if you're gonna sit there and smile and laugh about it, I'm gonna think that you condone it and you're okay with it. That's what you're giving me.
Yeah, whether you was uncomfortable or not, or how you felt inside about the situation, you didn't express it. You just smirked and smiled and moved on with it and stuff too. So you know what I mean. So
it also calls into question your character, like as far as who you are as a person, because again, like we started going back to do the live. Well, if you saying these are your words, you said, "Hey, we had the conversation beforehand based on X, Y, and Z that you heard in the past." So you already understand that there's a potential for this to occur. That was a prerequisite warning right there. Hey, man, this is my show. I understand your status, your stature, whoever you may be, but respect me enough that on this show, we ain't going to rock on that platform. The moment he did it was, "Hey, look, Peter, remember we had the conversation earlier? Mind that." And he keep going with the show. There's no disrespect in that. You're not disrespecting him, but him, maybe he slipped his mind. Quick reminder, "Hey, bro, hold on, not on this platform."
Right. And he really felt that way. You really felt that way. You could have pre-recorded that joke and edit.
Exactly. You could have edited it out.
If you really felt that, you know that you're gonna have that conversation beforehand. Please don't say anything racist. If you gotta have that conversation beforehand, why the hell you interviewing that man anyway?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Exactly.
Well, I feel like he had plenty of opportunity to not even fucking post the video. Not even post the video. You recorded it and then you posted it, and if you didn't feel like you did anything wrong, you wouldn't have went back and went live and then had that YouTube video yesterday. Which both of those made it worse. Because basically what you were saying in the video is, I can keep it up, but I can edit it out. It's still a great video, although he insulted half of the reptile community. Nah, I can't get with that.
Yeah, man. Can't rock.
Yeah. This is what it was.
If he would have,
was gonna be no strong people standing up for themselves and saying some shit. He thought my bad, coach. He thought this was still 2008 in the Bush League Breeder Group where them fools can get away with talking like that. But now, bro, you can't talk like that no more. You can't disrespect and expect us to respect you just because you did some stuff with some snakes, bro. You can kick rocks. You can move around, bro. Like that ain't how it's gonna go down. Like you're not gonna come in here and disrespect our culture.
Look crazy to me right now.
You ain't gonna come up here and disrespect our culture and think you're gonna keep on moving and shaking, bro. You got to calm that down because you're gonna run into somebody in one of these shows and they ain't gonna feel that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, so he can apologize and say what he want to say. He can miss me with that. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't in my feelings about it or nothing like that, but he can move around. Because
I don't think
you went through it. Hold on. If he went on it, they did that video, bro. They kept it rocking for another couple hours or something like that. You kept it rocking, bro. Come on now. You heard him say it. You smirked, you laughed, you went on about your business. It wasn't no problem with you. It wasn't no problem when he said it though. So now when people start getting on your ass, then you gonna start saying something like a little bitch. Excuse me, coach. Sorry. But then you want to keep
it wasn't a problem too.
You got the mute, G.
He ain't want to stand up on his two.
I feel you.
He ain't want to stand up on his 10. He didn't want to stand up on his 10 when it wasn't nobody saying that. But as soon as somebody started saying something, Then you want to start backpedaling and copy, please, but don't copy no.
Look,
please,
the whole
and backpedaling and still trying to justify though. That's just
like make it okay.
Trying to justify. You could have just man up on it. Like, you know what? I didn't know what to do in that moment. I was wrong. I'm sorry. But not but it's okay because it's okay because, and you know it's okay because.
No, there's no because.
Right. The justification is the part that made the IG line like just go downhill real quick, fast and hurry. You know what I'm saying? Like if you truly felt it was bad, you go out there, you apologize, you say it was messed up. You know what I'm saying? And you end it at that, and you try to do something to rectify, but you don't start trying to like justify yourself. Oh, he was using it like in a brotherly way. It was a term of endearment. Like, come on, cuz like, man, cut that out. Like you make yourself like fine.
Here's the thing, right? The whole industry would have applauded him if he stopped him right on the spot, booted him out the show, and addressed that and said, "Hey, look, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a f about who it is, whether he's a legend or not. At the end of the day, we don't tolerate that, and that's how we're gonna handle this movement."
Not even.
And even messing up, like I'm not even knocking him for messing up. Like the part that like really get at me is like the whole justification.
It's the aftermath.
I've had people on my show that went a little. Like, hold up, we don't do that here. Immediately. I've done it. You can do it too.
And I think it's even if it wasn't something racial, right? Even if it was another situation of like, somebody's background going crazy right now. But so another example I used too, I was like, if somebody was on the show and they was bashing one of your friends, like really like dogging them, you know what I mean? Didn't know this was coming, and it was somebody you were close to, you done business with, you done projects together, you literally like helped watch their kids or something like that too, and they straight bashed your friend. And you sat there and had that same thing where you just smirked and went on with the situation and then cut them dead in their tracks. How would your friend feel? How would your friend feel about you after that?
Well, how do you consider yourself a friend if you allow somebody to do something like that to your people?
I talk to some of you guys on the phone damn near every day, like just as much as I talk to like family members and stuff too. So if I had you on the live and I was talking about like who don't you mess with in the community, and somebody was like, "Oh man, you know that Kendall Joyner from blah 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 for sick with it. You know he got garbage stuff. He this, he that, whoop de whoop like that." Like whoever this is getting barred up immediately, and you know what I mean. I'm explaining why without emotions, nothing like that. So hey, just comment down here. Anybody, Ray, you want to talk about that?
That sounds crazy to me, man.
Most of the folks who are outraged use or have used the words that they claim to be outraged. Okay, so here we go. It's a cultural thing, right? So I grew up my younger years in New York. I grew up down here in South Florida. We listen to Tupac. We listen to Biggie. We are culturally. That's a cultural thing, right? Some dude from the woods, driving tractor trailers and doesn't come from the same culture. It's a much different story for him to say it in comparison to one of us saying it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's probably not going to make sense to them, but we
Yeah, it's not going to make sense. Like,
it's not even hypocrisy. The issue
all throughout society, we practice in-group, out-group dynamics, but it's only an issue when it comes to this situation. They want to justify it. Like, I feel like that's just disingenuous and just downright ridiculous, to be quite honest. So you missed me with that.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, it's not even so much the word itself. It's the stigma attached to the word. It's what is attached to it that is used by other races that have made it derogatory and made it a disrespectful thing. So it's not necessarily, it's a problem that you're specifically saying this word. It's the history that's attached to it that you're now trying to, let's go ahead and whitewash this history and make this not okay. This didn't occur. We're going to clean this up and say
word up, Mike.
Use the word and separate it from the attachment to the word. No, the problem is the attachment to the word and the fact that someone who is outside of the people or the group, the dynamic, the demographic that this word has affected is using it in a manner which has always been derogatory toward that specific group of people. So how is it that anybody gonna try to say me saying it as opposed to this dude that's hillbilly whose grandfather may have had slaves, whose great grandfather may have had slaves, who he himself may be living on plantation land? How is that supposed to be acceptable? Because I might say it to my brother, but he's saying it, but this is where it comes from with him.
That's like one of us going into the Asian community and using one of their terms. That's not acceptable, right?
Right. Like, oh, I eat this and I eat that, but should be fine. No.
Yeah, like if I was to go into the Jewish community and start using their derogatory terms that they use amongst themselves, I would be looked at like, yo, who the hell is this guy? Right?
Yeah, it's a completely different dynamic.
It's the same exact thing in this situation where he's outside the box and he's trying to, and this is to say that he's using it in a endearment way, because it wasn't said in an endearment way. We know how we say it with endearment, like, yo, you my G, right? Like that's different than him saying, bro, there was a hard R at the end of that twice.
It's a hard R. Let's
yeah.
And my thing is like too, when he said it the first time, and it wasn't corrected. So he doubled down. I got away with it. I'm about to do it again and even harder.
Number 2 if he would have got popped number 1. If he'd have got popped at number 1, he wouldn't even.
Should have been stopped.
Fact.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't understand how people don't think the intent was malicious, because like the screenshot that was posted, you got mad at someone for posting a picture of her burning a Trump hat, so you call her an ape.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got history of this at this point. Like,
we got to know.
You knew that before you brought this man on the show.
That's who he is.
You calculated risk stat to see if that was okay. What you wanted him on the show. He may have knowledge. Not saying he
the juice was worth the squeeze. Basically.
Exactly. I
So
mean,
now here's the thing, right? You are who you hang out with. So now everybody that hangs out with him is now put into this light that you condone this behavior, because that shit came out fluent. It came out like that's just his regular conversation and vocabulary.
We know it was at this point.
So now anybody that hangs out with him or supports him, it's now giving them a bad light. And
like you probably let him talk like that around you, and it was okay with it. He was okay
Maybe
with
you
it.
worded it correctly, 905. Then I apologize, because that's
I don't like the way it was worded, but
I like the way it was worded.
Yeah, it could have been.
It's embarrassing.
I almost put it a different way.
How many minorities have I heard in this industry praise this dude? Pete called the legend. Pete called this. Pete called that. And now he comes out and does that. How embarrassing is that?
And then too, you look at it like this, right? So we take the racist aspect, right, or the racism factor of it. So you don't have a problem disrespecting us to an extent, you know what I'm saying? And there's no issue. But at the same time, how many of us minorities have actually helped fund your life as far as investing in? I'm sure every one of us got pods. You know what I mean? In the boa industry, Kyle Albino, that's a big thing. So you still will accept the money from the minority, but then turn right around and slap them in the face after making sure you get it.
Real quick, can we stop saying minorities? It ain't nothing matter about me. People of color.
That's part of
I like it.
That's part of Ozzy origin story. If you listen to Ozzy talking about how he got started in reptiles, that's a big part of his origin story, going about snakes from Pete and flipping them. You know what I'm saying? So how much N-word money they been in his pocket? You know what I mean?
Man.
So you would take the money, but not respect the man.
The man.
I know it's business at the end of the day, but I don't know, man. It don't sit right. None of that sit right. With me.
I just everybody on the panel, man. Everybody, y'all just pay attention to like the world around you right now. Stay focused, man, because people about to be exposing themselves left and right.
One of the other bigger controversies that I get a lot of messages about too. People go, well, how do you feel about the fact that there's a black reptile group on Facebook for black people and stuff like that too? So I'm gonna address this right now. First of all, it's called the Black Reptile Group, but it's not just black people in it. You know, and people, and then also too, people go, well, why do you guys need a group for yourselves? And I'm gonna tell you why we need a group for ourselves right now. I'm in almost every ball python group on Facebook. Just because I like to keep my ear to the street, and I know that a lot of people don't mess with Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. But a lot of older people who still making good projects and cool stuff, they like to stay on Facebook because Facebook's been around the longest, and that's their comfort zone. All right. I watch black people from time to time post questions, morph ID questions, and people go in on them and just like destroy them. Hey, you don't need to do this because blah 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 blah, do that, and they're like, I talk to people about that, and people are like, hey, you think they hit Grown Hard because I'm black? I was like, well, let's see. Let me call somebody, and I'm gonna have them post. Let's do like a 2-week waiting period, and let's have them post the same exact picture, and we'll copy and paste the same exact message, and let's see what happens. A white person will post the same exact thing, and get support fucking through the fucking mountains.
Yeah.
Now I'm cursing now. So that's crazy. And like, dude, and I've done this experiment over like 4 or 5 years with the same thing. Like I see somebody, I'll go through somebody post, look at their profile. Oh, that's a black person. Let me see why they're going so hard. Okay, they go out like, oh, if you're doing this, then you don't need animals at all. You don't even need to breed this. And then you get a white person to make the same exact post with the same exact animal and it's support through the roof.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, yeah, there's controversy with that group as well, and there's a lot of people that don't mess with it probably that too. But that group is like a safe haven for a lot of people who don't feel like they're being helped and represented right, and a lot of them aren't.
So here's the thing. I okay. So when this was brought to my attention, I said one thing, and I said it consistently, and that was, I hope that I see the same energy from everybody in the community that they had for the shit that they were putting MJ through, right? And I say that because I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing everyone like, yo, this shit ain't right, blah 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 blah. It's almost like a dead silence from all the people that were so vocal about MJ calling someone a scumbag or whatever the case was.
I have an idea.
We used to that shit. As sad as
hey, hold on though. To go back to the bro group,
as it is, we used to it.
To go back to the bro group, we got white people, Asian people, Indian people, Hispanic people.
Yep.
So it may be called the Black Reptile Owners Group, but 25% of the group are non-black
I've seen somebody
people,
post
right?
like, what was the situation?
I was talking about that.
We got husbands,
when I
we
interviewed
got wives, we got cousins, we got mothers.
So let's do a quick like
short
form of letting everybody know.
Hey, one time,
not just black people. It's for the people who do support us without.
Who's talking, me?
Wait, Rashawn, let Reggie finish.
Oh no, I was saying the Black Reptile Owners. It may be titled Black Reptile Owners, but we also have the people that support us without judgment in that group. That's why they are allowed in there, because they're a part of our safe haven, even though they're not people of color.
Hold on, why am I not invited to this group? What are y'all talking about?
I got you. I'm gonna add.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, so on the outside, yes, it's titled Black Reptile Owners Group, but on the inside, it's just for people who support without judgment.
Right, 100%.
I like that a lot.
Perfect way to put it. Gershon, what you were saying?
Oh, my bad.
I'm gonna jump out for a second because I couldn't even hear Reggie. I didn't even know he was in the room, so I'm gonna jump out and jump back in.
All right, I'll wait for the tag to come up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Another thing to what Reggie was saying, and then in that group, man, in that group, I see we hold ourselves accountable for not treating people the way they treating other groups. I've seen people go in there and go too far in the admins like Reggie and a couple other guys, like even like just regular members. Hey man, we don't treat people like that in this group. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? No matter what color they are, we don't do that. We don't do that here.
Absolutely, because we got black people in there that try and dog people of other races, and we kick them out of the group.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's
you're coming for certain people because you don't like the way they look. No, you out of here. We don't discriminate. We can't have a group on non-discrimination and then be in that group and discriminate. So we kick black people out the bro group all the time for being discriminatory.
Yeah, it's not about
replace a monster with a monster.
It's not about racism is okay over here and not okay over there. Racism is not okay, period, from any race, even including my own. You know what I mean?
Back.
Yeah. If we can check our own, everybody else can too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
And see, with this situation too, I think that what's going on is that they're trying to shift the focus to the word. It's not the word, it's the racism that goes with the word. That's where the issue is. He displayed racism publicly for everybody to see that, hey, this is who I am. And by you not addressing it in that moment, you pretty much co-signed it for the moment and said, okay, I'll deal with what comes with it after. So it was more important for you, in my perspective, in that moment, it was more important for you to appease him and that group of people that maybe
share that same views
than to consider the masses and how everyone else may take it. So you just basically
and then you try to
people. Hey, it's this group of people that I'm going to turn it out to, and then there's a group that's under them that pretty much you just separated the industry by basically saying this group of people is above this group, so I'll deal with that group later. Right now, I'm going to appease this group. That's a problem in itself.
Right.
If it's about reptiles and racism is not permitted and accepted, then it don't matter where it come from or who it come from. It should be checked right then there at the spot. but you allowed it to go on for this amount of time, and then let me try to clean it up, and then let me try to justify, well, because y'all said, okay, there are things that you can tell your child that if I come in your house and say the same thing you said to your child, you're gonna be ready to blow my head off.
Exactly.
The same scenario.
Great analogy right there.
Well, and the thing is too, like, let's even take it off race, whatever, too. In 2023, there is nobody living in this country that's living in the cave somewhere that should be able to comfortably come on somebody's live and call some random person a homophobic slur. What's going to happen to that person?
They get canceled. That's immediately. By the time the show is over, they already canceled.
Yeah.
Even if you said it to your non-gay friend, whatever, but it was a term endearment that y'all use together and stuff like that too. Dude, we say stuff between each other behind closed doors that probably shouldn't be said out in public and stuff too. But we know better.
Right.
You should know better on a public platform.
Yeah, man. Nicole said the same thing yesterday. Keys, if somebody come on the Friday night hair down, if somebody say something crazy,
I shut it down.
Put a little pause on that, but then we ain't gonna embarrass that cat. We gonna talk to him behind, you know what I mean, behind the scenes. Like we ain't trying to make nobody feel like, you know what I mean, like they less than anybody else out here. And that's the reason I fall in with them cats anyway, man, because it's the diversity, man, the respect, the positivity in that group, and from Reggie, G, Maine, Dre, Antoine, like they got me in this early. Like when I first jumped in the game, they was like, yo, get away from Facebook, bro, come over here to this Instagram and mess with us over here. And from that day on, bro, it was nothing but love. Like, and Coach been talking crazy since day one, since the first moment I stepped in that chair. Everybody, and it ain't changed. You know what I mean? So it's genuine, and I respect that. That's what we need in this game. Like people looking out for the new guys, the young guys coming in, because they gonna take over eventually. We all gonna be old heads. You know what I mean?
I'm already old head. Just young in the game.
Trying to pass it on to them. You know what I mean? So
real quick, I came in late, so I don't know if we touched on it, but personally, I don't think we're trying to discredit what Pete Call means to the hobby. We're just trying to let him be held accountable for his negative actions. So it's not like we're saying he didn't
not a
do
witch
shit
hunt.
for the hobby. He didn't get, help us get to where we're at. But at the same time, you have to be held accountable for your actions, whether you feel they're offensive or not. You can't tell someone how they feel. So you may have said it with pure intentions. Well, not in this case, but you may have said it not to offend, but it did. So you can't say you didn't offend someone when it's brought up. So I don't think we're trying to discredit what he means to the industry and to the hobby, but he does need to be held accountable for his repetitive mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we all have freedom of speech. We all have freedom of speech, but there's consequences that come with what you say. There's good consequences and there's bad consequences. And you got to be able to, that's what I was explaining to MJ was, what you put out there, you have to be able to accept what comes from it. And this is one of those moments where he's going to have to accept what comes from it, because it's not, people of color are not small in this industry like it used to be, I guess, back in the day. We're abundant, right? We're out here. We're putting our faces out here. We're putting our mindsets out here. We're doing everything that we got to do to be out here and to grow our business, to grow our brand, to do all this stuff. It's not, no one's just going to let that slide.
Bro, by myself, I put more than 6 figures into this industry over the past couple seasons. You know what I mean? And put just as much out there, donate to USR, helping with somebody, when someone's collection caught on fire and stuff like that too, man. Like, I know just me by myself, as much as I've done for this community, I know you guys support this community even more, or just as much as I have too. You know what I mean? So we're a big part of it, man, and we're here to stay, and people just got to realize that. So, and if you want me to put my dollars towards you, dude, it's some things that's gotta change, bro. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like, and even if, but the thing is, though, what this situation is, I don't have a relationship with Pete Call at all. I never met the man. I never talked to him. I never had any communication with him. Do I know who he is? Yes. Do I know his impact on the community? Yes. But if it was somebody I knew, hold on, let me add Rashawn real quick. Like, if my friend that's at the top of this heat, Justice Rebelka, came out and did the same type of thing, we'd be having the same exact talk. If he responded the same exact way, if he had his show on, he did the same thing, he'd be getting the same heat from me. And a lot of people wouldn't be like that because a lot of people want to preserve these relationships, and that's why a lot of people are so quiet on all these things and stuff too.
There has to be a moral standing where you say, I don't care what I lose, I'm gonna stand my ground and what I believe in.
Also, you don't have to like me, but you gotta respect me.
Period.
Right? So you don't gotta like people of color, but you gotta respect us.
Period.
So we used to respect the same way. So you can feel how you want to feel behind closed doors, but you show me respect, I show you respect. We don't have to have a beat. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta like you, but I'm gonna respect you, and that's all we're asking for is to have common respect that everybody else is getting.
And at the end of the day, it's 2023. Why are we still why are we even having this conversation?
Why is it still a thing right now?
Yeah, this is the last thing I expected to be doing on a Sunday.
These two men that had these two people that had this conversation are well over 30 years old, bro. They're over 30. They probably grew up in a time where that word was said freely. And they seen the progression. They seen the progression of culture, right? They see the culture move a different way away from that, man. Even when it comes to like other minority groups or other groups of people, like we all used to talk a certain way, and I'm pretty sure we all changed and don't talk like that no more because it's not acceptable anymore.
Yeah,
these are men in their 40s and 50s. Right?
Yeah.
These are men in their 40s and 50s that we're still having to have a conversation in regards to what comes out of their mouth. When they, you know what I mean? You're an adult, bro. You're an adult.
It's crazy.
It gave us a good glimpse of what their inner circle looks like.
Exactly. That's the thing. A lot of these dudes are in their own bubble, and their own bubble is like that. So only time they realize they may be doing something wrong when they go outside that bubble into the world. And they go, oh, I can't be out here. So they go back to their bubble where they feel comfortable. That's just what it is.
Also, we're not.
I feel like that's what those Smurfs were. It's like, damn, you didn't outed us.
But also, we're not.
Like Illuminati, like a fake Illuminati.
I'm trying to hear what Reggie's trying to say.
I mean, all people.
Y'all hear me?
Nah, we said that earlier, Reggie. It's about it.
Okay, I'll hop on late. My bad.
Yeah,
nah, you good, bro. You good. So everybody needs to be respectful to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I can't come out here saying crazy stuff about nobody, man. I gotta hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want anybody coming into the hobby and having to deal with any form of discrimination. I want everybody to come in the hobby and feel accepted and comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like you come into something. We all had a life before we had snakes. You find something that you love and you genuinely love it. And you want to put yourself into it, but then some bullshit, some BS like this are happening, right? So now you feel like you got to push yourself away from it because you're not accepted at this particular point of this place in the hobby. Like, so, man, I'm still kind of upset, but I'm trying to like put all my words together, man.
And I want to be clear about something too, like, because I decided to put this on my platform and stuff too, but I'm not calling for this worldwide boycott or fucking people to get on the streets and start marching and we shall overcome and stuff like that. Dude, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to bring a light to it because nobody with a bigger platform was bringing a light to it, and the people who tried to bring a light to it, a bigger platform, apparently was getting threatened. But we're not going to go into that because I don't have concrete evidence of that. And if I do say that and that's not true, I could probably get sued. But we'll talk about that at another time too. But yeah, it's like that deep. You know what I'm saying? So
and also to me, I see what Sean tried to do, whatever his mind frame, thought process. Yeah, he did that. But also we look at there's been no type of, as far as unless I'm the only one who ain't heard. I don't think any of y'all have heard, because if we had, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But Mr. Carl himself has not come out and tried to make no type of apology. He ain't tried to clear the air. He ain't tried to, hey, look, this is what I meant. It been nothing said, which then doesn't necessarily defend against the stance that, hey, maybe this guy's a racist.
No, from my standpoint, though, because Sean messaged me and asked me. He said, what if Carl made an apology? I'm like, I told him I didn't care about that. That's not.
I could care less.
I could
it wouldn't be heartfelt. wouldn't be meant.
It's
That's damage control too.
Yeah, they'll just be saying it just because.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them. Like, I'm not sorry for what happened. I'm sorry I got caught type of thing.
Right.
So,
I'm sorry you was offended by me being sorry I offended you for being a jerk.
So I do agree with that. Him apologizing really won't mean nothing, but I want to make sure people understand. Like, we all gonna make mistakes. I'm not saying his was a mistake. He did what he did on purpose. He just got caught. As we grow and the world grows, things change, and we change the way we talk to people, change the words we use to people. We find out what hurt people, and we try not to do that anymore. So we're gonna go through a growing process. So people are gonna make mistakes and say stuff that's insensitive to other people. The issue becomes the way you deal with that, the way you react after.
That's a mistake, though. That's a mistake.
Exactly. I'm not saying what he said was a mistake. He did what he did.
Some people make if you make a mistake and you are sincere in your apology, you're gonna get applauded. You're gonna get it, and it's gonna be accepted.
I don't want people to take this and
out of
feel
pure like malice. You know what you was doing, and you apologize afterwards. Man, you can miss me with that.
I don't want people to take this and feel like, oh, I can't ever say nothing to somebody because I might say the wrong thing. So don't talk to other people or don't reach out to other coaches or learn other people because you're scared to say something wrong. No, don't take that as that.
Yeah.
Like,
something's ignorant.
Learning about other people, but be genuine when you're doing it. Like, understand you might make a mistake and tell them, like, hey, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I want to learn. I'm asking you what is okay and what's not okay. What he did.
There's a difference between damage control. There's a difference between damage control and sincerity.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing is
start copping pleas. Once you start copping pleas and making excuses for yourself, it don't matter.
Backtracking,
and then you only did it after something was said about it.
Yeah, they just added insult to injury.
Somebody said moonwalking. Somebody start moonwalking.
Hey guys, listen, and he came on and he said some things that probably ruffled some feathers. I just want to go ahead and put out there right now. Hey, that's no position. Like they put the little caption on there. Hey, this by no way, reflects my views, my vision. You could have done something beforehand. You didn't do anything until you saw the roller coaster on the way, and it's like, oh man, they done jumped on this thing, and that's gonna be something bigger. So now let me try to control it. You could have after that attached something. Hey, listen, he came on. It was a great show. He did something. I'm trying to get it taken care of, but understand that that's not my viewpoint. We've had the conversation. Blah blah blah. If you'd have did that before, you had 8 to 12 hours to try to figure something out because so many people have said something, it could have even been more respect. It may have seemed more genuine, but it literally looks like, okay, they calling me out. They've reached out to my phone. I got to do something now. So it was a mandate.
That's the thing. If nobody said anything, right? If nobody said anything, he would have never made an apology video.
Right.
So not at all.
I had somebody on it right after it happened.
Go ahead, Trey.
Obviously, he was still live, so it went on for a couple of hours, but I had people messaging him during the live, and he took it down, edited, then put it back up, then got backlash, and then took it back down. So he tried to cover up the mistake as if people didn't know about it when it happened, because in his mind, well, this is history. He might not be here longer. I need to have this interview to get my career back to where it was. If that's the case, take it down, redo the interview, and get those same stories when the man is sober, right? So he's trying to teeter-totter on keeping the video up because he's like, well, this is history, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying it wasn't a great interview. I didn't watch it, but I don't know. But that one little 38-second clip diminished the entire video, right? So if you want that interview so bad, delete the old one, have him do it again when he's sober, and check him before the interview so you don't have this same mistake.
I think that's also part of the issue. He's been like this for so long. Like, a lot of us have heard about, like, I was breeding bitter dragons back in 2014. I heard about Peter Call back then. I called it out then on my Instagram. But it's the simple fact that nobody else of standard has held him accountable. And for us, this is just another reminder that, no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter what we do in life, we just looked at it as another nigga just trying to make it. That's it. It don't matter what we doing. It don't matter how successful we are. They do not respect us and they don't care. Not all of them.
Word up, man.
Racism is always going to be here. And that's why it bothers me when people are like, oh, he's a legend, he's an OG. I don't idolize nobody in no industry. I don't care what you're doing, don't care how long you've been here. I respect you for what you've done, but I don't owe you anything. So you don't get to talk to me like that. You don't get to treat me like that. And I think when you idolize people a certain way, they think that they can say and do whatever they want because they haven't been held accountable. And I think that's a big issue, especially in this community, because there's a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't come across. I've had people DM me and call me the N-word because they don't like what I'm doing. At the end of the day, what can I do behind a keyboard? But the problem is, it's like so mainstream, and we become so normalized by it. And now it's so normalized that people don't even want to have conversations about it. We'll speak on everything else: misogyny, bullying, harassment. But racism is where we draw the line. I've never understood that. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I legit follow a lot of people like on Instagram, and like I follow way more people than I should. And to me, I just felt personally that out of all the issues that's been happening so far in the community, that this issue was the softest thing that's been tackled. And that's why I decided to do this. You know what I'm saying?
It's always like that because people got to look at themselves in the mirror when shit like stuff like this happen, man. And like people got to take a real hard, serious look at themselves. And ain't nobody ready for that in real life.
Okay, I have a question.
You know what I mean? Like, those who want to help, answering questions to them little beige kids is crazy right now because I don't even know where to. You know what I mean? Like. It's insane, bro. The world is crazy, and I always felt like this was an escape from all that BS, like, because I never really felt none of it. You know what I mean? To this point, like to such a public degree. Like Dre said, I've had people in my DMs come at me crazy, but that don't bother me. Like everybody got haters. If you ain't got haters, you ain't doing nothing. So
I mean,
when it became public, then I was
my situation is a little bit different too, because like I'm at a lot of events and I'm blind and stuff too, and there's a lot of people seeing two big sides to my coin. The one side, you know, it's just blah blah blah, having a good time, happy, jolly, go lucky, dick and fart jokes all the time, and making fun of
dad
people
jokes.
with dad jokes and stuff like that too, and barring people up with my awesome lyricism and shit like that too. But
my awesome lyricism.
But people also know that. Dude, you can't play with me like that either. You know, like there is not one human being. Okay, I'm gonna say one. There's very few people on this planet that will fucking see me at the Reptile show at NARB show all the time and talk like that while I'm around. Not too many people.
Yeah.
I don't care how much alcohol you got in your system. I don't care how much nobody. If you say it all the time in front of all your homies, you will not talk like that in front of me.
Agreed.
Because everybody know you a ninja.
You're not that dumb.
What?
You might be crazy, but you're not dumb.
So I have a question. Let's say somebody does want to stick up, stand up, help us, support us, and they don't know how to do it. How should they go about it?
Simply say that I support. That's it.
Because I've had a bunch of people message me saying they want to support, but they don't know how to not and do it and not seem like they're trying to jump on a bandwagon or be offensive. So what would be the best way in your opinion to support without looking like a pick-me?
Here, ready?
Before anybody says something, make sure you understand that this is our individual thoughts of how you should support. That doesn't encompass the whole community.
The whole group.
Right.
Here's my thing, right? This is how you support. You don't focus on the specific. You do exactly what you've been doing. You support Reggie's Urban Jungle. You post his stuff. You show him love. You buy his animals. You do everything that you've been doing. That's how you support somebody in this situation. You don't have to go above and beyond and say, I support minorities or people of color. Just support them. Just love them.
Right. I don't need you to black out your profile picture.
Right.
Hashtag Black Lives Matter. None of that stuff.
But I bring that up because I bring that up because we're saying people are being silent, and then we're telling them don't say nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we have this podcast or we're on here live because we're like nobody's speaking up besides black people, and then we're like, hey, don't say much. So where's the line in between?
You could just say, I don't support racism. I don't subscribe to that.
It doesn't have to
keep it real. Just keep it real.
It doesn't
like it's really hard for like.
But what do they say?
I don't mind the post.
Everybody
post. I don't mind. It don't bother me. It don't bother me.
I think I agree with what Antoine said earlier. It's not necessarily their fight, so I don't require anything. I appreciate the support.
I'm not asking anybody to do anything, but if you want to do something, it's fine.
Be out here and we gotta go on a whole march. Nah, that ain't what it is. But I do think conversations are like this is important because I'm not gonna sit here and act like this is the last time that this is gonna happen.
Yeah, this is.
We all know that.
I mean, if you feel like you should say something,
I agree. I'm not saying
be authentic, come from your heart.
But
just
what
keep
I
it
am
real.
saying, for the ones who do want to support, and they have the conversation with us, and they do want to post something, what do they post? What do they say? Because again, it's not their fight, but they want to be supportive.
Yeah, they don't subscribe.
As long as it's something organic. Let's just, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's
real and from the heart, you're not fake, you're not doing it just to be noticed, then do it. If you're not doing it to be noticed, you're doing it because that's how you feel, then do it.
At the end of the day, it's just like anything else. You're not gonna make everybody happy.
I don't require nothing for nobody. I can speak up for myself. I'm a man. I stand on my own 2 feet. What Dre said, what Coach said, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't require nobody to do nothing. But if you feel something in your heart and it's organic to do something, to say something, just say what you got to say, man. I can't sit there and type out something for you. But if you feel like it need to be said, shit, let it come off you.
Do it. Yeah, man. Don't talk about it. Do it.
It is hard to say, make it organic, because if you're not doing it every day, you're doing it when something happens, it's not organic. But I understand what you're trying to say, Reggie. People that want to show that they are supportive and they don't like to see that in the community, just make a post and say you don't like to see it in community, that you stand with people. There's nothing wrong, but don't necessarily tag like all your black friends or something like that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know what I mean?
So hold on. Y'all see Sean is in there. He said I was visually uncomfortable. I didn't take it as a joke. What do y'all think?
We saw you were uncomfortable, but it didn't keep you from stopping him from saying it again.
Right, that's the issue.
It didn't make you uncomfortable enough to
stop it.
To stand up on what you're saying at this point is, you know, how you morally feel about it. So, you know, don't feel any type of way about it, but it just didn't make you uncomfortable enough to speak out at that moment.
Hold on. The question: why were you uncomfortable? Were you uncomfortable because you didn't agree with the stance, or were you uncomfortable because you like, oh shit, you said this on the live, we're gonna get some blowback from that?
Morphinary Art said he made a great point. Yep. Sean, I watch ball shit, bro. You talk over everybody. You talk over every one of your guests. You talked over Antoine the whole doggone show, bro.
I called Antoine about that.
You can ask Antoine to see you a text message. I seen him doing the live, bro. Like you was talking over him the whole time, bro. And you couldn't cut him off, cut Pete off and say, hey, bro, we got to chill on that language. You know what I mean? Hey man, but check this out, Sean. This ain't no witch hunt against you, my brother.
Not at all.
We just want you to know that we don't stand for that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't no witch hunt against you. I wish you the best in your life. I wish your daughter continued success. I wish you continue success, my brother. But we not standing for that, bro. We're gonna need you. We're gonna need you for here going forward. Run your podcast. But hey, man, anybody get on that? They don't need to get on that disrespecting, man. You gotta hold your to a higher standard, my man.
Exactly. And that's for every race, creed, sexuality, all that. Not just black people. If it's a black person,
Hispanic person, Asian person, anybody get up there talking like that, bro. We gotta handle that.
You being the host, that's your job to make sure you control that. Like you the gate, you gotta make sure that stuff don't go through. Even if it slipped through, you gotta stop it immediately. That's just what it is. That's the power you have being a host. That's the responsibility you have.
I think that's the biggest point right now is he didn't nip it when it happened, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest.
Right. The first time you nip it, all right, is you know what I'm saying, kill all that, but then you let him continue and again, you really said it twice. All right, let's go to the next topic.
All right, look,
right. Kill it when it happened.
Hold on, let me add the man come back. So in this group right here, right, a lot of people here that I'm really, really close with. What happens, Kendall, if you go through my morph market and I got some trash ass pickup there, they don't look clear, or and then look like, what you gonna do? You gonna just like let it fly? What's gonna happen?
You know you're getting a text message from me, my brother.
Oh yeah, you getting hit up.
You know you're getting hit up with me.
Hold on. How come y'all don't hit me up when my pictures is trash?
Because you don't post them.
If one of you doing a giveaway and you give away a male yellow belly 50% head pod, who gonna be in your DMs? Who gonna be in your DMs cursing you the hell out? Talking about something, bro. You better than this, bro. Like, you need to hold yourself to a better standard than this. What are you got to say? Like, I know what your collection looks like. I know what you're capable of doing. Like, this is some BS. Like, get on your stuff and go out there and do better. You know? And then just like people, like all of my friends, I hit them with, hey, bro, I'm gonna start this text with love. But yo, you was bugging yesterday.
Hey, bro, I love you to death, but look, you messed up.
No, like, hey, I'm be real with you, bro. Like, you an idiot, man. Like what happened? Because this, like that too. And honestly, too, man, if the person that you say you're friends with can't take criticism like that from your friend, like I don't need a bunch of yes people around me. I don't need a bunch of.
Hey Ray, we had that conversation.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I got enough of those.
Very
man.
true.
Like, I need people around me that's going hold
Tell
me
me my
accountable
shit stink.
for when I mess up. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, Ray, we had that same conversation too.
Evil stuff to me before.
I would never take constructive
You're my
criticism.
boy.
I would never take constructive criticism as somebody hating on me ever.
Yeah, me too. Like, yo, if I care about you, I want to see you I want to see you performing at your best self.
Right.
So if I see you,
if I don't, I'm not gonna take your advice. It's just gonna go in one ear and out the other. If I really care,
right all the time.
You know what I mean, on the other side of the fence, if I really care about you, I'm gonna take that to heart, and you know what I mean, put it in my everyday practice. You know what I mean? So
100%.
And then too, going further, if you think about like relationships, right? So with us, we pretty much all have some type of relationship between all of us. So with that being said, we gonna call each other out. But even if you're somebody that I'm just dealing with, you gonna know from jump where I stand on my morals. I'm not gonna compromise my morals and integrity to fit in with you. If I have to do that, then who am I as a man? And so understand this may be our first time having this type of interaction on this level, this platform, but I need you to understand and the rest of the world to understand, hey, I got a standard. I'm not going, tuck my tail because of who I'm dealing with. No, this is who I am as a man. This is what I stand for. I'm not going to allow that to wave and falter. This is it. So the moment that you cross that line, especially if we already had the prior conversation, then, bro, it's all bets are off at that point. We're going to deal with it according to, hey, as a man, because we had this conversation, I drew the line in the sand. You stepped across that line.
Me.
You got to deal with the consequences of me now. Forget everybody else.
Now you got to earn it, like as a man. Just said, now you got to earn it all back. Like it's crazy. You start. You don't even start from zero, bro. You start from negative. Like you got to get yourself back to zero before you can.
I got a question for all of you. Hey, so we're gonna wrap this up because we're almost at the hour mark too. I got a question for all of you. So, like I said, like the goal for this wasn't to like be on a witch hunt and cancel people and stuff like that too, whatever. Do you think in our industry there are people? You don't have to give names. Just give like a number or whatever like that. Do you think that there's people in our industry that's uncancelable that can say or do whatever they want and it would not affect 1 cent in their bank account at all? Because there'll be so many people on their behalf because of their relationships, because of what they do, that nothing will happen to them. And go.
So here's the thing, right? Hold on, I'm coming in. Hold on.
Realistically,
so listen.
we touched on it earlier. People are afraid to break the relationships that they think they have with these bigger breeders because they're trying to befriend them and elevate themselves in status, so they don't want to bring it up. So I do think there are at least 10 people in the industry that are fully uncancelable because of their status and people wanting to continue to feel that. And I'm not saying not everyone doesn't have a genuine relationship with these people, but for the most part, about 1% of the people they communicate with, they treat like family. The other 99% is trying to just elevate themselves to be cool with them. So I do feel there's at least 10 people in the industry that are uncancelable just because people want to keep their relationship that they think they have with them.
I don't know if it's anybody that's like 100% bulletproof, like in the long term. Like I feel like a lot of people, like it's certain people in the industry that's kind of at the top, and just off of what Reggie was saying, people trying to maintain those relationships and so on and so forth, then people will let a lot more slide with those people. But I think it became like a pattern of behavior where those people continue to do some of the things that could, quote unquote, get them canceled. Then I think that at some point it's going to catch up with them. And I just think it's levels to it, right? And some people more bulletproof than others.
I see everybody as an equal. I don't care what status you think you have. I don't care what level you think you're on. Everybody is equal to me personally, right? In this industry, a lot of people are celebritized, and that almost makes them feel like they are untouchable or they are bulletproof. But that's a facade. That's like that's fake, right? That's just people bigging you up. But at the end of the day, you're just a person. You go to sleep like me. You bleed like me. You breathe like me. So I'm never gonna let it slide when I see something that's coming from you disrespectfully because you think you're above me. And I don't care what relationships I burn or what bridges I burn, because if that's a bridge that burns from me standing my ground and holding my moral compass at this level, then that's a bridge that has to burn, and I don't care.
Most of y'all know me. I know we've been rocking for like over 5, 6, 7 years. So y'all know my morals. I don't move for nothing. If I say I don't mess with it, I don't mess with it. So like, if I'm not one of them people. If I have a negative experience with you, I'm not going on the internet. I'm not.
Just never get. That's it.
I'm just not. It's just me myself. I'm just not fooling with you no more.
Dude, there's plenty of people I bought snakes from. I get the box in. The box looks like I peel off a layer of tape. One layer says one damn reader. The next layer of tape says another. You can tell that this box has been floating around the reptile world for a year and a half. You know, and
I'm telling me, coach.
The snake is
he does it too.
The snake is in the burlap sack or something like that, or the snake
crown roll back.
It's a crown roll
back.
Oh, that's
how I do it.
Or even if the communication wasn't the way I liked it, whatever like that too. I'll leave my little rating for you, and then I'll move on my life and stuff too, and that's it. And as long as I got my animal and my animal came here in one piece, and you got your money, like I'm not gonna go public with it. I'm just never gonna pay. I'm not gonna give you my money again. You know, even if you necessarily didn't do a bad thing, you just didn't do it the way that I thought was fit. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own way of doing stuff, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna let you know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with doing business with you, man, and that's it. Hey, so has anybody up here dealt with any kind of like possible being canceled for something or got caught up in some controversy like this or anything?
Hold on, before that, can I make one quick statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want people who are watching to understand that this whole thing is coming from a place of love and concern, because as serious as this topic is, we've been laughing and joking most of it. And this is a very serious topic, but we are not here to like hate anyone. We are here from love. Exactly. So even though this is important, we're not all like F you, F you, F you. We're joking amongst each other because we want to still show love. We want to receive love. We want to give respect and show respect. So we've been, ha kiki, and it doesn't mean it's not serious. But it doesn't mean we're out here trying to cancel shop. We're not trying to kill people out here. We just want to be respected and show love. So I just want the people who are watching to understand that this is still a very serious topic, but we're not out here trying to, hate everyone, black versus white, all of that stuff. Just be respectful.
Facts. Basically, we're not going for what has been allowed to happen in the past. Basically, it's a group of people that's coming up now that is not going to be silent about things no more. Basically, I have to understand that there's now a force of people who take pride in who they are, where they come from, their culture, who thrive and grow and are raised off love and respect, and which is basically letting it be known. We joking amongst each other, but it's no laughing matter. Hey, we're not tolerating what has been allowed to slide. We're not our forefathers and others that have kind of, okay, we're going to let this go for now. We're not that generation. We're the generation that's going to speak up. And, whatever has come with is going to come with. We're not the generation that's going to be quiet and turn our eyes, lay down and tuck our tails. We saying it's not acceptable and something needs to change. And that's just that, period.
Hey, did you know that? So there's a Facebook group that's designed to out all the bigots, racists, sexists, misogynists in the reptile community. Oh, wow. That was a thing. There's a Facebook group for it. So every time somebody's in someone's inbox and go, you can die, you N-word this, and N-word that. All those things are being archived and screenshot. I'm telling you, they're all being archived and screenshot, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, and a lot of stuff in it too is a lot of just like fluff or hyperbole. Someone making a post because their feelings got hurt too, but there's a big majority, a lot of those posts in there that are just crazy, So
I probably popped up in that group,
and it always happens. And it always happens during like political time frame, like during like midterms and election times and things like that too, where everybody gets superly charged about their beliefs and political stances and stuff like that too. So it is out there. People are taking screenshots because screenshot and screen recorders are the thing, obviously, this year. So, but yeah. So, has anybody dealt with that besides you, Dre, or no?
Guess I'm not man out.
So I deal with something.
Oh, I got one.
Slightly like that. I had a girl screenshot when I was selling the snake, and then told people, "Oh, it's not what it's supposed to be," and didn't even contact me. Didn't contact me and actually asked me about the snake. Just start posting that it's not what it is. He's lying. All this, and then the guy I bought the snake from commented on the post like, "No, I sold that to him. This is exactly what it is." And then she came back and said apologize on that post, but never actually contacted me and apologized. So that's the only thing I've had to that extent. Dre had it a lot worse.
I got crucified.
Yeah, go ahead.
For those that don't know, it was like 2 years ago now. I posted a meme poking fun at women who post reptiles with the goods out to get more likes. You know what I'm saying? So. I found it on the Explore page. It had been posted by multiple reptile accounts. It had been used by other reptile keepers. But when I tell you I had the wrath of every white woman reptile keeper at my neck for like 2 months, literally I lost like 3,000 followers, like everything. And then what makes it worse is this year, somebody that I'm cool with posted something similar. And the same, YouTubers like Exotic, Emma Sampson, they were in my DMs blasting me, making posts about me. These same women, when a man made a similar post this year that I made, they reposted it and thought it was funny and said, "I'm glad us reptile keepers can have a sense of humor." So it's just like when I tell y'all, I had to shut my Instagram down for like a month because it just wouldn't stop. And from that point, they started a movement where they was basically in my DM sending me naked pictures, and I'm just like, "Now this is harassment." So it's crazy that
they were sending you naked pictures?
Wait, what? She like, what you complaining for?
Because I'm gonna just say this and leave it at that. It wasn't the type of women that I like. So that's it. But at the end of the day, I feel like situations like that get more heat than this situation right here. Yeah. We can talk about stuff like that. A meme that was already like 4 or 5 years old, that's an issue. But racism is still alive, well, and prevalent. And again, this is going to be a conversation I bet you we have, hopefully, not again, but we all know how America works. And honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I got into reptiles to shut out stuff that happened in the outside world.
Man,
It's tired of watching the news and seeing a man got killed or somebody got killed, and I get tired of seeing that. So I got into snakes and reptiles, and I wanted to learn more about it just to throw myself into something. And then here we are. I'm 5 years in. Well, social media 4 years in, and we still dealing with it.
Yeah, right. I thought we was getting away from it. Like I said earlier, in this bubble, man, you make this bubble, bro, and you retreat into that bubble. You feed, you taking pictures, you posting to the gram, you making reels, you jumping on lives. You don't think about what until it happened.
It's to my point, to the women that sent me those pictures, just imagine if any one of y'all have sent an unsolicited picture to a woman, what would happen to y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, you get crucified.
So about 2 years ago, somebody made a post on Facebook, and they were, the gray matter snake. They said,
"Ooh, I remember that."
It said "Gray Lives Matter," right?
Mm-hmm.
No, and nobody. I said, "Hey, man, as a black man, I don't really rock with this post. It's disrespectful to what's going on with the climate of the climate."
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The climate of the what's going on in society right now. It's not really respectful. bro, they try. I don't care. They tried to rip me apart. They were like, well, you made it about that. You made it about that. Like, no, I didn't. I mean, the post disrespectful, man. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said, man. That thread was long.
Yeah, they knew what they were implying.
Yeah, you know
they wouldn't have been using that slogan had Black Lives Matter not came out. We all know
exactly.
There's a
lot of people are blocked on that thread.
Right, they was in my DMs.
Oh yeah, after that, man, I cut a lot of people off.
They was all in my DMs because I said something. I said, hey, all right, man, it's cool. Hey, this world is small. You know what I mean? We might see each other. Very true.
Hey, Wiz, see you at Walmart.
You know what I'm saying?
I be quiet, man. I ain't got time to go back and forth, bro. It's this world too small, bro. I'm gonna see you, and I just hope you got that same energy.
That'd be the biggest thing, though, bro. Is people they get courage on this here social media, right? That they get stripes on social media that in the real world they would never have. And so what happens is that they get behind these keyboards, they surround themselves with a certain status of people to make themselves feel like it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get to me. You ain't gonna see me. And not realizing that some of us frequent these shows. You may not know the area that a person is, and boom, there you are. Hey, let's have that conversation that you was wanting to have on social media. Suddenly the energy is strained and all the air is sucked out the room. Oh, you tripping? No, I'm not tripping. I'm just still remembering what you said and what you was on. So be on that today, and that'd be my big thing. If you won't be on it in front of me, then don't be on it away from me.
Yeah, exactly. Be yourself, man.
And the thing that I love the most about this community is the diversity in it. Like you check me out on Friday. I'm not trying to plug it in, but check me out on Fridays, right? We got everything in my group, bro. We got Mexicans, Korean, Cuban, all types of Hispanic, blacks, whites. We all. Only thing we all have in common is the love of these animals, and we come together. We didn't become a community; we are a family, and that's how things should be.
Facts, bro.
I think this live is proof of it because 4 years ago I didn't know none of y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, we're doing this, and it's in a negative light. We got to have this conversation, but at the end of the day, it's like situations like this do bring us closer. So I do understand and I do appreciate the lessons in these negative situations, but it's like, when is enough going to be enough? Why do we got to keep dealing with this? We here, we not going nowhere. And at the end of the day,
I actually said that too, Sean.
4 years ago, I didn't know nobody. 2 years ago, I thought Dre and GP was the same person.
2 years ago, man. I 2 years ago.
I knew that was coming, man. Hey.
Well, yeah, I wish I could. Hey, Coach, you need to put them next to each other. You got to move switch main with Dre.
Dre, one of my partners, man, he thought you was Gershon. And he was DMing you one day. You probably thought he was just some crazy random dude. Hey, I say, he had hit me up. I say, man, leave that man alone. That ain't Krishan. He was like, oh no.
I get like 100 to 175 DMs a day, but like I tell people all the time, people mistake me for Gershon, but nobody mistakes Gershon for me. Everybody think that I'm GP, but nobody thinks GP is me. It's the weirdest shit ever. Like, it's crazy. Wow. They didn't call me T-Pain. They didn't call me everything. I'm like,
crazy.
Get it.
Listen, man, people gonna be who they're gonna be, and there's nothing that we could do to change that. But that doesn't mean that we have to accept it and subscribe to their mindset.
Right.
And I think that's really what we're here for, is to not, crucify anybody, but to say, hey, look, this shit is not okay, and we don't subscribe to that, and this is how we're addressing it, and we just want to let y'all know, like, there's no room for that anymore. There's no room for that anymore. Period. There's too many people of color in this industry for you to think that this is 2001 where you could be at a show and there's only one black dude and one Asian dude, and you guys are the high and mighty, basically. Like, that's not okay.
Also, making too much money.
My first Daytona was in 2008. I remember going to the Daytona show and looking around, and I saw one other black person because it stood out like a pepper in a fucking salt shaker. I was like,
you gotta go talk to him.
He was like, man,
I remember going to a Reptile show.
Get some crickets, bro. I was like, oh man, I'm about to buy these pinstripes real quick,
I remember going to a show like in 2010, 2011. And the only person that talked to me, the only person who talked to me gave me the time, bro, was Tracy Parker. She
Is
gave,
she
you know,
Barker?
she's
Yeah.
she talked to me for a long time. Gave me, told me some stuff. I still keep my snakes kind of like how she told me back
Oh,
then. Like she,
I think you're talking about Ray.
Oh.
yeah.
I think unless you talk about you, Ray.
Oh, what happened?
She said which
So
one was
she,
on
it says
here down.
GP,
Oh,
Lindsay.
GP.
No,
Oh,
she's
oh.
Nah,
talking
she was
about
being
me
funny.
and
She was
Dre.
asking if it
Yeah.
was me or GP.
Oh,
You know what? Y'all trying to? I'm gonna really look like GP.
oh, because Dre was in the bed. Dre was supposed to get on, but Dre was in the bed.
Now we look
there
like
you go.
G. Now we look like, bro.
Dang.
I lagged out when that conversation was happening.
His dreads
But
is a lot fresher than mine, so I'm gonna put the hat back on.
How should I say this?
Oh yeah, shout out to the Eagles one time, Dre. I see you out there.
Oh man, Philadelphia sent me a stupid post with the Eagles win,
he
man.
been
Get
messaging
that
me
crap
too,
out of
bro.
here, bro. Get that crap out of here. Take that
Messaging
hat off.
All right,
I'm
guys,
telling you,
keep it
Dolphins
focused,
fan.
Derek. Keep it focused.
Oh,
bro.
you're right, Reggie. You're right, Reggie.
So,
Thanks, Reg.
We joking now.
did y'all want to? I don't know if y'all wanted to talk about what Donnie was saying in the chat. Trying to get off of there, trying to get off of what's the name show.
I can't.
I don't know if y'all want to talk about that.
I'm trying to find it right now. I'm scrolling up.
That might be another. That might be another topic. That might be another topic.
What did he say?
Yeah, that's something they can deal with on their own. You know what I mean? That's outside of this.
I mean,
so
I just wanted to talk about the issue of not editing terrible stuff out of shows and just leave. If you're gonna keep anybody show up that's terrible and keep the whole thing so people can see that they're terrible, even though I don't like editing history. You're editing history. Don't do that. Don't take out the bad stuff that make you look bad in history and just keep all the good stuff. Don't do that. They doing that in textbooks now. Don't do that.
And listen, if you're somebody with a platform, be mindful and maybe do some research on the guests that you choose to bring on your show, because at the end of the day, they represent you. You know, you decide who goes on your show. It's not just some random person on your show. You choose that person. And if you're choosing someone that you know is in a bad light, guess what? You're gonna be in that bad light too. So be mindful. That's it.
To GP's point, it's kind of like, because I used to coach college and I would see highlight tapes. So it looked good when you hit 10 threes in a row. But if I watch the whole game film and you got 6 turnovers, you not boxing out, you don't talk on defense, we don't want you, right? So editing the bad stuff out is kind of like just making a highlight tape. You're only showing the good. You're not showing the full game film, and you can't judge a player by the full, you know what I'm saying, just by a highlight tape.
That's right.
Very true.
It just when I watched the YouTube live yesterday, Sean Bradley, it just didn't sit well, and it was all I got from it was, I know he said this word, but it's still a good interview. Like I know he offended y'all, but he a legend, so y'all got to excuse him. No, it's not gonna work.
I like Sean. I like you, man. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's
I don't like you damage controlled it.
Very passive aggressive. Like I didn't see anything wrong, but if y'all got a problem, man, I guess
I'll take that part out and leave everything else up.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, bro, like the dude ain't nothing.
Airtime shouldn't be given to those who are going to make the industry look distasteful.
I mean, he had his,
You said what?
He did what he did, brought his genes to the game and all that, but he ain't nobody like relevant right now. Stop playing.
Hold on, y'all. I'm hearing a female voice, but I don't see no females in here.
That's Keisha talking to me.
Keisha in the background.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Terrence can't see the chat, so she letting them know.
Yeah.
My bad, Keisha.
I'm leaving. All right, fellas.
No,
bye.
you good. No,
Yeah,
you should be here
love
too.
you, Keisha.
I'm in the chat chiming in, so
okay.
I appreciate all y'all on the panel. Y'all are like it was said, y'all are handling it in a beautiful, beautiful way. You're giving everybody a chance to listen, to chime in when they need to, but to listen. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate you.
And to everybody on this podcast,
Yeah, that's too
Dylan's stupid, bro. That's funny.
So I think one thing I need to say is to everybody on this live, we all doing great things in our own way, whether you're breeding, keeping, no matter what you're doing. So I think situations like this need to be a reminder of why we do what we do, especially in the industry where we get looked at by black people like we crazy, and we're going to get looked at by some white people like we crazy because this has been a heavily populated white industry for a long time. So to see us doing what we do at the level that we're doing it at,
right,
we're doing big things. So we gotta keep that same energy. Let people know, like, hey, we see that, we don't appreciate it, but we're not gonna stop. We're here. We ain't going nowhere.
What most of the reptile community don't understand is that because we decide to keep and breed reptiles, a lot of black people don't mess with us.
We hear from y'all. We hear from us, man. We hear from our family.
Very true.
Very
true.
We got also come to the house. You got them snakes? Nope.
Right. By us being in the industry, though, representation matters. So I know a lot of people who got into reptiles that are people of color is because everyone here and Ozzy, stuff like that. So I get little kids that come up to me all the time. Is like, hey, I didn't know it was cool for us to do this.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
And Bob says it a lot on his interviews. Representation matters, right? So we need to, and it's not just reptiles. This is introduce them into science because we got to learn genetics, right? We got to learn probability. That's math. So just by us breeding reptiles, being in the hobby, we're introducing children, and it don't even just got to be ones that look like us, but it helps. But we're introducing them to STEM. Just because we're interested in reptiles and they see Dre's videos, they see Coach's videos, they see GP, they see all of us, and they're like, he looks like me. I can do it too. So it's very important. So we have to minimize the disrespect, the negativity that comes along with being a black breeder just because it was a white populated hobby for so long and some people don't like it. It's changed. It's not just about the animals. It's so much more than that.
Listen, there's a
respect. Like coming into this hobby, when I came into the hobby, like I came in like a few years ago, right? So I came in like 2020, and when I first came in, I kind of came in like on the solo tip, just from watching like YouTube videos and stuff like that. And so one of the first things I started doing was like joining Facebook groups. And so the first Facebook groups I came across was like more of the mainstream Facebook groups. And I'm the type of person to kind of like sit back in the cut and observe before like I step out there, right? And so what I was observing was people like asking questions, getting torn down, especially people of color. Then fast forward like a couple weeks, couple months, whatever it was, I got added to the bro group, right? And I started seeing people who look just like me. And so I started seeing that representation, and I started seeing that it was a group where like they embrace people asking questions. You didn't get torn down for asking questions. And so like I felt comfortable asking questions, making friends with people and being able to talk with people on that level. And so like really like assisted me in developing in the hobby. So I'm just living proof, you know what I'm saying, that representation matters. Like you got to see other people that look like you doing stuff. That's so helpful. So helpful.
And the bro group ain't perfect either. I just want to throw that out there. The bro group is
it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
Yeah, Python haters too.
But it's important though.
Python haters in the bro group.
The bro group is not perfect. There's a lot, it's just like a family. Right?
So let's look at
some people leave the family, some people come back. It's not perfect, but overall, it is a safe space for people of color.
Yeah, look at what. Let me touch on what Reggie said about the kids and how they look up to us and they say, "Oh my God, there's somebody that looks like me that's doing this." Right now, there's a flip side to that coin. If you got a young Caucasian kid watching, bullshit, which I don't understand how that could happen, but if it was to happen and he was to watch that and he was to hear that, that would be setting an example that it's okay for that young man to be and behave that way.
Right.
We have a responsibility when we put ourselves out here to
hold on, Brashawn.
Basically to carry ourselves in a light that's gonna make people are gonna emulate what they see. And we need to be mindful of how we carry ourselves because it's super important.
Especially kids.
Especially kids.
My son message me and be like, "Yo, I'm on Keys' live. Where you at?" And I'm like, "Oh shoot, let me jump over." You know what I mean? Like,
all right.
Little win.
Brashawn say what he had. Brashawn has something to say. Let's let him go.
So I partially agree with you, Ray. We are representations. People see us, but we're not their parents. you got parents. Your parents still need to do their job. They need to do their due diligence to see what their children are watching, what they're consuming. 100%.
In a perfect world, I agree with you 100%.
But that doesn't mean
parents aren't out there.
If my content is for mature ages, your child shouldn't be watching it. If he does, that's your fault. That's not my fault. So I can't say that's 100%. Yeah, we need to do. If you got mature content and that's what you do, that's what you do. Them kids watch it. That's on their parents.
Right. It's not even about the kids though. That's that. Yeah, there's gonna be kids that watch us regardless because there's parents out there that suck and they're not good parents, and that's just the truth of the matter, right? In a perfect world, parents would manage what their children are consuming, and we see that all the time in the entertainment industry and the rap industry and all this other stuff. You got kids out here running around gangbanging because their favorite rapper said that. You know what I mean? So in a perfect world, yeah, the parents should have responsibility for what their kids ingest. But at the same time, we have to know that that's not reality. The reality is there's kids out here just doing whatever they want to do. So if they come across us, it's important that we at least set an example that they could look up to and it's positive and it's going to lead them down the right road.
If that's your platform, 100% agree. 100%. If that's your platform, 100% agree. But if that's not your platform, that's not your job.
Yeah.
If you're not trying to be a role model, that's not your job. If you're trying to be a role model and you trying to reach the youth and be positive and show that, yes, that's the job you took on. But if that's not yours.
But there is a responsibility that comes with
a lot worse than watching all of us on the panel on YouTube.
Exactly. This is true.
Bro, at certain ages, I'm speaking for myself. I was doing way worse than watching Reptile videos.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta, we all. I think everybody in here is a professional. We all do something for a living. We all professional men. We all take care of our families. I would say that any child, any young person, or young man, young woman watching our platforms will be positively influenced. It's not going to be anything negative. They might learn a few new words,
new bad words,
words, but they will be positive.
Everybody take care of business. Everybody
take care of their business.
Yeah. But let me circle back to what I said at the beginning. Is that it's not about the message that you're putting out; it's the delivery that you give it. And I just
it's
feel
still
like
about the message too.
But I think at the end of the day, whether we're talking kids or not, just be respectful in your message.
Be respectful in your message.
Kids, adults, it don't matter.
You can have a hateful, respectful message.
I think what they're trying to say is listen to the words that are being spoken, not how the message is being delivered. Because as a coach, I know I can yell at one player and be like, "Hey, get your rebound," and they'll be like, "All right, coach, I got you." If I say that to another player, they're going to shut down. So I have to deliver my message based on, the
audience, the recipient.
Exactly. So my message has to be correct no matter how I deliver it. So that way, the way people perceive it can be taken how I meant it to be.
Because and that's true too. Like even being a teacher, it's a teacher's job to learn how to teach students the way they need to learn. So as if you have a message, it's your job to learn how to deliver the message to your specific audience in the way that it needs to be received.
Yeah.
So the delivery is important. The message is just as important. I think they go hand in hand because, one without the other still can give a mixed message. If I come off very aggressive trying to give a message, you're not going to hear what I'm saying because my aggression level, you're going to focus on that. If I come off too soft, you're not going to hear me because, man, whatever, you're going to throw it out the window. So it has to be the right, the right amount of force. And funny how none of the OGs are here to talk, man, factual. Well, we got.
Let's not.
You ain't here.
First person of color that I noticed in the industry.
Did you invite them?
Antoine, Reggie, GP, Drain, sick.
To your point,
bro. Stop.
To your point, also on social media,
was in here for a little bit.
Reggie, I see him earlier.
I just don't think some of those guys are sitting there scrolling through the Instagram and posts and stuff like that and checking for nothing like this too. They out making money, and they out making money. And a lot of people they don't follow, they don't see any DMs and stuff like that either. So like, unless I follow you, I don't see any messages at all So I don't know. So I'm guaranteed people like, hey, look what happened yesterday. What do you feel about this? And people
a lot of them got
on.
social media managers. They ain't looking at that shit.
Right.
People just moving on with their lives too. So I don't expect them to, you know what I mean, to try to jump on everything either, though. You know. So
But
I'd be lying, like I say, I'd be lying if I don't aspire to get to those levels. But them ain't the dudes I look up to. These people on the panel right now, straight up is the dudes I look up to, because y'all got goals that I feel like is attainable. You know what I mean? And y'all willing to help me get to the level y'all at. So them OGs are the OGs, the big boys. They gonna be that, but that ain't who I ain't. Stop. Y'all the ones I look up to. That's just keeping it up.
And a lot of people on this panel I straight look up to.
Most of the people in the chat right now, like, that's facts.
I think I'm the only one on here that don't deal with ball pythons, but I've learned a lot from everybody on this panel. I mean, at the end of the day, we all dealing with snakes. Some of the temperaments may be different. Some of the care requirements may be different. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot to learn. And I've seen a lot of comments in here talking about color. And I think the worst thing you could say to me personally is I don't see color. I want you to see my color.
I just had that conversation earlier today.
Just had a conversation earlier today.
Respect that I'm black. I'm different than anybody else you ever met. We're not all the same. Me and GP both got locks. We both black, but we're not the same people. And when people say, I don't see color, well, look, you need to open your eyes, because there's definitely some different colors out here, whether you black, Asian, African, Hispanic, whatever the color is, you need to see it, because when you say I don't see color, you're choosing to ignore that it's there. And that's
then you're lying to me.
Right.
But that's not helpful.
Then you don't
feel like
you see color.
There's
You're
no
lying.
way you don't see this black man walking up to you.
Yeah, listen. My kneecaps and my elbows are super black. You're gonna see it. So I don't need you to act like it's not here. I need you to look at me for who I am. I got brown eyes. I got long dark hair. I mean, like I'm here. Like it is what it is. So
that's the beauty of the diversity.
And even break it down,
though, because we're all different. Every culture brings a different vibe and aspect to the hobby, right? There are certain things that certain cultures and races do that are influenced on both sides. So if we were all the same, we wouldn't have the diversity in projects. We wouldn't have the diversity in some of the gear, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we want the diversity. We just want to be respected in the diversity.
Yeah, the goal is not to get folks to view everybody through the same lens and look at everybody the exact same and just get rid of the diversity. The diversity is what makes us strong. I mean, even bring it back to the whole ball python game in general. Like, would this game be as big as it is if it was just a whole bunch of normals floating around? No, it's the morphs that make it special. And it's all the different diversity and like these color patterns that make us embrace it. And make us get, like as G would say, all high and heavy about all these ball python mores, you know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with people. Like, diversity matters. Diversity is something to embrace. It's not something to run away from. It's something to embrace. It's something that makes us stronger. So we should definitely embrace that and acknowledge it for what it is. But we ain't got to disrespect it.
Exactly. You don't see color if you how you identifying these snakes.
But I also that's also not something I lead with either in any aspects of my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a black reptile owner. I'm a reptile owner that happens to be black.
Right. Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like that's not like me being black shouldn't start off with how you treat me. You know, it's like a lot of time when you meet somebody in the social setting and stuff like that. When you ask somebody, when you go around and say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" When you have that question for somebody, you know why we ask that question, right?
So they can judge you.
See how to treat you.
Yeah,
see how you can afford all your stuff.
No, because we try to gauge how much respect we should have for them. That's why we do it. So when we say, what do you do? If you say, I just work part time at a school where I clean erasers. Shout out to all my eraser cleaners in school, you know. And if you're the CEO of a company somewhere, you're gonna be treated different. You know what I mean? So my goal is to make it so that regardless of how I look, I just want to be on the same playing field as everybody else. I don't want special treatment. I don't want better consideration and stuff like that too. I just want to be at the same starting line as everybody else. I don't want no head start. You know what I mean? Like just.
So it's like I want you to see my difference, but I don't want you to focus on it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Just acknowledge and understand.
Don't judge me on that.
See my difference. Don't focus on it. Respect it, and we can go up. You know what I'm saying? We can make it happen.
I feel like you trying to ignore that I'm black is making it worse because it's like passive racism to me. I don't see color. Yes, you do, because you can identify these different snakes.
Oh, you wouldn't even said that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, see me for who I am, because you're not gonna see no other person like me. Let's keep it a buck. We may look similar, but there's no other Dre out there. Period.
It's like
so you for what I am.
It's like you don't see color, but you wouldn't want to get treated how black people are being treated.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we see something, they see something wrong, but they don't want to do nothing about it because they wouldn't want to get treated how we being treated.
Well, yeah, there was definitely a couple interviews where you can ask. There were some white people that were asked, "Do you think racism exists?" And they say no. Or they said, "Well, would you switch places with a black person?" And they say no. And they say, "Well, why?"
That's the answer.
So it's just like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But I tell people all the time, if I could be anything else in the world, I would still be black.
100%.
I wouldn't change it for nothing.
They want to be us, they don't want to be us, man.
So with that said, any final thoughts before we get up out of here, man? We'll be an hour and a half in, so
positivity.
Positivity.
This whole thing was about respect and love. That's it.
Respect. Facts.
Yep.
Respect and love.
Just love each other. Respect each other.
Just to reiterate, too.
Embrace diversity.
Nobody's asking nobody to get canceled. Nobody's saying, "Oh, message the person on the podcast and ask Sean to remove your episode." I'm not telling Sean, "Hey man, you need to take down my episode I did with you a couple weeks ago." You know what I mean? Like,
we're not about to pull up on nobody, put our hands on nobody. You know what I'm saying? We just want respect.
We don't want no violence. We don't want nobody.
We don't want.
If you make a mistake, own up to it.
That's the thing.
100%.
We're not looking for confrontation. You know what I'm saying? We just want to keep it peaceful. That's it.
That's it.
You know,
but peaceful does not mean that we're not here.
I'm not gonna say that. It all depends on how you respond.
Yeah.
It all depends on
in person, if you have to handle your business, you handle your business. I'm not saying don't be a man about it.
But we're not looking for trouble.
We're not looking for trouble.
We're not looking. Understand? Peaceful does not mean
we don't want to go out here. We got no mess, man. Love, positivity, respect. The homie Bosa said it last time. That's it.
Do what we doing and do it better. That's it.
That's it.
Man. But glad everybody came through, man. You know, shout out to Keys Constrictors, AlluringSerpents, Herp Collectors, Regular Serpent Jungle, Sickle the Ball, Pythons, Wiz Constrictors, DW, Exotics, Mainboard Creations, and GP Snakes. Oh, I bodied that shit.
Because everybody that's watching might not know who we are.
Thanks for holding it, Coach.
Thanks for everybody. Coach. Yeah, man, appreciate it. Because a lot of people, we've been sitting at 150 for the hour and a half.
Yeah.
Everybody who decided to take their time out and listen to our side of it, to hear our opinion on it. So appreciate everybody who watched.
And I know there's gonna be on Facebook groups gonna be links. Hey, look at these people complaining about how good they got it. I already saw that shit go. This is getting shared right now between private people and shit, and people are having stuff to say and talking smack and stuff like that too. But to me, all those people is just noise to me, man. A lot of times, especially in this internet world, it's full of bots and NPCs that's just here for fluff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like their highest place in life will be the comment section. And that's it. So
if they feel a type of way about this, they need to weed themselves out because I don't want to be around them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't
100%.
like us for this,
and we not going anywhere.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm here, man.
Very true.
With that being said, make sure you guys follow and subscribe to Reddy's Urban Jungle on it.
I love this shirt, Win.
Peace and love, ancestry. Peace and love,
Jason.
Yes, sir. Peace and love, brother.
I make sure everybody's like Instagram and YouTube is in the description when I repost this and everything too. So let it breathe a bit too. So hey, everybody, have a dope breeding season, man. I hope everybody kill those odds of what they want to, So just stay healthy and successful, man. Success,
have a good year, man. Be safe.
Have a great
year. Have a bunch of 1.6 clutches.
Keep growing. Keep growing. Hit your goals.
Yeah,
1.6 for everybody.
I'm good at 1.3. I can do 1.3.
You get a 1.6.
All right, y'all be easy, man.
I appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
Peace out.
Thank y'all in the chat for coming out.
Yeah.